What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the GSN Sports Network podcast. I'm your host, as always, John J. II, and thank you for joining us today on a Wednesday, October 13th, 2021. I hope you guys could make it to our fantasy podcast that Seth and I recorded last night. A lot of good information on there. Make sure to check it out if you haven't on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and wherever you find your podcasts. Check it out and give it a listen, and hope you guys enjoy it. So, we got some breaking news coming straight from the GSN Sports Network headquarters on Spencer Rattler. I guess some individuals looked him up on the student directory online, like many universities have, and they noticed that Spencer Rattler is no longer listed on the student directory, which could be a big deal. Could be a really big deal. So a lot of things are speculation right now, but from what certain reports are saying, they think that he has entered the transfer portal. So as we all know, Caleb Williams came in and saved that game against Texas in their win over the weekend, and could be very detrimental for the Oklahoma Sooners. And, maybe not. Could be beneficial, actually. Having Caleb Williams in there might be a breath of fresh air, but to have him enter the transfer portal for being taken over in one game, halfway through the game, is kind of surprising to me. So Cody and I actually talked about this on the GSN College podcast on Monday. Probably touch on it again on Friday. But basically, we were talking about how the decisions that were made from the Oklahoma Sooners coaching staff to take out Spencer Rattler and put Caleb Williams in that game, it was very beneficial for the team. I think it was a big aid to having them win that game, and it was a good thing that happened. Now, we were kind of questioning what's going to happen with Spencer Rattler. Obviously, Caleb Williams has proved himself at the highest degree, at the highest level. And to see this happen puts in question Spencer Rattler's position as starting quarterback for the Sooners. How will this affect that? Unfortunately, if he is not listed in the directory, he has entered the transfer portal. If that is the case, then we won't have to deal with that. We will never have to see that. Maybe conversations took place after the game behind closed doors, unbeknownst to us. But a lot of that is up for speculation right now. So we'll see what happens and how that will change the Oklahoma Sooners landscape of basically how their team is going to be constructed and how they're going to carry out business from here on out. So it's going to be interesting to see that, and we'll see what happens. So moving on, let's talk about Jon Gruden. Obviously, you've seen the graphic earlier in the week. Jon Gruden has retired from his head coaching position at the Oakland Raiders, at the Las Vegas Raiders franchise for the NFL. Obviously a big deal seeing Jon Gruden leave, seeing him leave coaching, a few years back and then come back to it. The question is, will he go back to commentating? I think that's a big question for a lot of people, a lot of viewers out there right now. But I think an even bigger question is what happened in those emails? What did those emails say? And these allegations, are they entirely true? Now, Tony Dungy, I was watching him commentate a game. Don't remember the game exactly, but might have been the Bills Chiefs game. And he was saying, are these things justified, and things like that. And that was when Jon Gruden had came out publicly and said, this is what I did. Didn't really get too specific, kind of just said, I know I messed up and I'm here to apologize. That's not who I am. And basically set the stage and set the record straight for a lot of people that were concerned about what happened. Now, there's a lot that we might never know regarding Jon Gruden, whether if he had racist emails in there, if he was explicitly racist and demeaning, misogynistic to certain individuals. In that case, it would be absolutely wrong and should be condemned to the highest degree. But things that need to be considered is his apology. How sincere was it? And did he mean well at the end of the day? Now, if he had some, ill will towards anybody, I'm sure it would be very blatant to whoever reviewed this. But I think it'll play out. Some more might come out of the wash. And I don't think Jon Gruden is out of the public eye indefinitely. Maybe for the time being, maybe for a short time, but we'll see what happens with Jon Gruden. And I hope to see him again so we can get some more information on this entire scandal. This is very abrupt, especially in the middle of the season. A couple tough losses for the Las Vegas Raiders. And there's a lot going on. So I get there's more stresses and there's more that meets the eye, but there's also a lot that meets the eye as far as stresses and things that are bothering possibly Jon Gruden, other coaches, and other personnel within the Las Vegas Raiders. team and franchise. So we'll see what happens from this, but we'll be staying posted to it and keeping an eye out for everything that will be updated regarding this entire scandal. Big deal. A lot of stuff happening. We're not done. We're not done. So not really scandal, more or less a injury report. So Kareem Hunt and Edwards-Helaire, they were, released from the game and they were injured. They had injuries. They have since reported their injuries to the appropriate individuals, and they have told them that, basically the individuals that were responsible for making the diagnosis, the prognosis, they have said that these injuries might last a few weeks. You got an MCL sprain in Edwards-Helaire, and you got something, just a slight knee injury. They didn't really get too specific on the report, but a slight knee injury for Kareem Hunt. So we've already seen the Kansas City Chiefs falter, and we can't really blame Edwards-Helaire or Kareem Hunt not being on the field for that game because my Buffalo Bills Mafia, till I die, they would have won that game no problem. No matter what, you could have had, the NFL legends on that team. Okay, I'm talking Lester Holt. I'm talking Lester Hayes. I'm talking all kinds of people. All kinds of people. Put whoever you want on that team, and they will not beat the Bills. Josh Allen and the entire Bills team, the offense, the defense, they're clicking on all levels, all wavelengths. So there's things to consider there too. Make sure to, you got to keep an eye on the Chiefs, though. Everyone's expecting the Chiefs to do well week after week. The bookies love them. The bookies love giving them great odds. It's tough to do that week after week when they're taking these tough losses on the bottom of their conference. So it's tough to see. Nobody really expects to see this from Pat Mahomes being the guy, and I think he's very overrated just as a quarterback in general. Yes, he can get the ball down the field. He's very talented, and not demeaning him at all. Very young kid. But he's got a long ways to go in the NFL, a lot to learn, and he'll have to manage that and really rebound because said it last night on the fantasy podcast. The quarterback is the head coach of the offense. He is on the field. He is basically running and calling the shots from the field, which gives him a slight advantage to the actual head coach, who's Andy Reid. Okay, we still don't know if he's looking at a menu, if he's looking at a playbook. Nobody's really investigated or dove too deep in that. I think we need to get somebody into that and have someone check that out so we all know. Moving on, let's talk about Kyrie Irving and the controversy related to him. Now, obviously, everyone knows the controversy regarding Kyrie Irving and his vaccination status. He has denied wanting to get the vaccine, and we've said it multiple times that this is Kyrie's choice. Now, unfortunately for Kyrie, there are certain mandates and certain laws in place preventing certain individuals that are not vaccinated or are not using or utilizing different COVID-19 protection and prevention methods. And it basically prevents them from, taking place in indoor facilities, doing practices and things like that Kyrie Irving obviously has to do. And there's been decisions that have been made. Some rumors have been going on saying Kyrie Irving is retiring from the game of basketball completely. Other reports say that Steve Nash and James Harden and all the guys over there at the Brooklyn Nets, KD, those guys are saying, we're taking it day by day. We will move on from this. They have to obviously, take place in practices. They're in the preseason now, so they have to get involved. They have to play the game of basketball at the highest level. But they have decided to move on for the time being, and that's a decision they had to make. Obviously, it wasn't an easy one, and Kyrie's sticking to his guns on this one. So, unless something crazy happens where he does get the vaccine or some certain liberties are granted to Kyrie Irving, I don't see Kyrie Irving remaining with the Brooklyn Nets. Now, this is obviously a very fresh thing, and we'll learn a lot more about it as time goes on, I'm sure. So let it marinate. Let it sit. Let it marinate for a while. Put it in the fridge, and we'll come back to it later. We'll see. And then a lot of these things, similar to the John Gruden thing, even the Chiefs thing, and even the Spencer Rattler thing, a lot of these things have to marinate. They have to cook. They have to sit. They have to simmer. So until we learn more, there's really only so much we can say and speculate from here. And what we can say is basically all speculation. So to bring it full circle, that's what we're expecting. That's what we have right now. And we'll see how this affects the entire landscape of both the NBA, the NFL, and the college football landscape. Very interesting stuff. We'll be looking for this. Let's talk about some MLB stuff. So obviously we're in the MLB postseason. Very exciting time, very important time to me in my heart. I've been talking to a lot of people, had some bets going. I got some buddies that are also having some good success in the postseason betting wise. Unless you bet the Rays, the Boston Red Sox basically came out of nowhere and shocked the world and came out and reached the next level. They will now face the Houston Astros, and this will be a test of their might for sure. We'll see how they're able to fare against these Astros, and it's going to be a crazy, crazy finish. The Dodgers actually forced a Game 5 with the San Francisco Giants, and it's absolutely crazy. I love this Dodgers team. You got Justin Turner, you got Corey Seager, Max Muncy. These guys, they know what they're doing. They know how to play the game of baseball, and it's just really great to see. And I just can't wait. The over-under for tonight's game is 7 runs. The run line is +1.5, favoring the Dodgers, giving them a run and a half. The money line is -105 on both sides. Kind of crazy right there. Money line -105 for both sides. Yes, you heard that correctly. Okay, so watch out for this game. Facing, these two teams, obviously 100+ wins, and really testing each other's might. Now, a lot of people thought these Giants would easily sweep this series. It hasn't been the case. These games have been barn burners, and I've said it once, I'll say it again. These Los Angeles Dodgers are fighters. They are not going to let up. They don't care who they're playing. Very similar mentality to the Boston Red Sox, because no one thought they were going to beat the Rays. But I really like this Dodgers team. It would be a blessing of mine to see the Dodgers and the Sox in the World Series. Don't know if that will happen, might not happen, will likely not happen. But it's not out of the question to happen either. So we'll see what happens there. And really exciting stuff. I can't wait for this game. And this finish is absolutely insane and crazy. So I'm really excited, guys. And I can only say so much about it right now until more information comes out. Probably talk about it soon. Gin and Tonic coming tomorrow, Thursday, October 14th. But before that, let's talk about some merchandise and some events that we got brewing. So unfortunately, we did not get the Gin Macker going this year. It was just something that kind of, got stacked too high and too much stuff. It was on the desk, and then too much stuff got stacked on top of it. So we kind of lost the vision there. It's not going anywhere. We're going to see it happen very soon, probably in the spring of 22. So look for that. Also, we have the date for the disc golf tournament that will be happening in Flushing at the YMCA. And we got, a lot of decisions to make. A lot of things are still fluid and still in the works for that. But it's November 27th. Mark your calendars and make sure you take part in that disc golf tournament. It's going to be a great time for everybody involved. If you play disc golf or know anyone that plays, make sure to get in touch with them. Make sure they know about this event. It's going to be awesome. Also merchandise, we got the Color Rush, University Rush tees coming out very soon, and hoodies are dropping November 1st per Seth's breaking announcement. So make sure you're watching for that, watching for the merch drops. We've been kind of slow on it. We've released some pieces, through the winter last year and early spring of 21, but we're getting back into it. Fall is coming. Fall is here. The leaves are changing. They've already changed. They're falling off the trees. And it's cold. So we need some hoodies, and we're going to get some hoodies going for you guys. And we'll be putting some prototypes out very soon, too, on our Instagram channels. So make sure to stay posted to that. Make sure to always stay posted to our link tree for all updates regarding Gin Sports Network stuff and Gin promotions. Stuff is changing every single day. Life is a fluid situation. Without getting too philosophical, life is a fluid situation. Change is the only constant. We have to roll with the punches every single day. And we got to make it happen. No matter what we do, we got to make it happen and get the job done. And that's my motivational TED Talk of the day. I'm going to throw something a little bit, motivational in there towards the end of these podcasts. So make sure to stay tuned for that, and just uplifts you. It makes you feel good about what you're doing in your life, no matter what it is. Make sure you're focused and you stay inspired. No matter what you're doing, stay inspired, stay hungry. Never get complacent. But I'll leave it at that, guys. We'll keep this podcast short and sweet tonight. Make sure to stay tuned for all upcoming things regarding Gin Sports and the Gin Sports Network, and we'll be in touch very soon. Thank you for tuning in to the GSN Sports Network podcast. I'm your host, as always, John J. II. Have a great night.